Alright guys, yeah, Ex Mosquito here. Yeah, I thought I'd do another audio commentary. Well, it's more like tips and strategy for Final Fight, a replay I did last year. Right, I started straight away because this is quite a long replay and I'm struggling. I'm going to be struggling for things to talk about for 46 minutes. Ready? Go. Yeah, this is a 1 credit replay on the Japanese version. And the default settings, which mean you only get 1 extra life. Because in a lot of arcades, well, a lot of places I used to play it growing up, it was always, for some reason, it was always set to an extra life every 200,000, which means you got an extra 5 lives, which is makes the game a bit easy. But yeah, 1 extra life is a real challenge. But yeah, it's a good game. But the thing is, there's no good there's no good conversions to practice on like back in the day. Like the Super Nintendo version is bloody. It's not very good. I don't like the Super Nintendo one. There's no all the enemies. Well, there's way less enemies. The enemies aren't in the right place. Yeah, so you can't really practice at home. Like Ghouls and Ghosts and Strider on the Mega Drive, you could practice at home. Go to the arcade and your strategies would work and you could just do it first time. But Final Fight, yeah, the Super Nintendo one's awful. The Mega CD one's okay, I guess. There's not so many enemies. And even the X68000 version, yeah, X68000 version, there's a lot missing on that as well. Like at the start of that level then, you could see I did I jumped back to the backsplash backwards, jumped back and to skip the enemies. On the X68000 version, it doesn't allow you to scroll extra enemies on, so even that isn't as good as the arcade. And the 8-bits and the Amiga version just yeah, not even worth playing really. But yeah, this replay is going to be with Hager. I find Hager the best because he's got the most options. He's good at doing crowd control. That backsplash. I'm not sure if we saw it then. I'll probably just stop in the middle now and again just to explain things because I did this replay last year. It's hard to like explain specific things unless they're actually happening. So yeah, I think Hager's the most fun to play to me because I tried the other guys, Cody and Guy. But my friend uses Cody. He can do it 1 credit, but I can't use Guy at all. Cody. The thing is, you can abuse the infinite punch. Like there, I use it there, but the Hager one isn't really guaranteed. It's quite tricky to do. With Cody, if you look on YouTube, a lot of people 1 credit Final Fight. They abuse the infinite punch. We just like punch a couple of times, punch back, punch a couple of times, and you can like fluke the game really. I don't really want to do that. I want to just play it legitimately. But yeah, there's a few strategies that are key with Hager. I'm not sure if you know, but if you do a normal combo, and if you hold up at the end of the combo, you'll do a backsplash like there. If I hold it up there, as I hold up, I do the backsplash. And the thing with the backsplash is that backbreaker suplex. I don't know, suplex. I'll call it. Yeah, that leaves you totally invincible. So it's useful to start off a combo sometimes. And yeah, there's a thing Hager can do. It's called the backbreaker loop. Whereas if you get a few enemies on screen at once, you can just hold up and you can just keep looping the combo. By here now, that'd be a good example here. So if you hold up, as you're doing a backbreaker, you can't be hit, and then you can just carry on the combo and do another backbreaker like there, invincible, carry on. See, because that knife man was stabbing me then, but because I was doing the backbreaker, I was invincible, and as I came out the backbreaker, I'm still invincible. I just keep looping back and forth. Because what makes Final Fight hard is, I think anyway, this isn't, I think it's because the enemies all get up at different speeds. Like say the start of the next level, there's That's a good example of it. Yeah, there's loads of enemies on the screen. Say about, I don't know, 20 enemies, and if you were to do the special attack to knock them all down, they'll all get up at different speeds. Like you just try to attack a few of the normal grunts, and as you fight, as you're hitting them, someone else to stand up and hit from the back because they all get up at different speeds. If they all got up at the same speed, then the game would be easy. You could just fly kick them all down, hang around, fly kick them down. But that's what makes Final Fight hard is the recovery speeds. But yeah, there's a few strategies that are vital with Haga. Like, yeah, that backbreaker loop, holding up, and the backwards jumping. The backwards jump with a backsplash. No, backwards jump with the splash, because then you can control the screen and drag people in directions that you want. Yeah, I can't explain yet because I'm not actually doing it. But yeah, the main strategy you want to use on Final Fight is try and get everyone on one side, because if they're on both sides, you just got like twice as much work basically. Yeah, those knife men you got to watch, because they're the quickest to get up. Yeah, the quickest recovery time. Yeah, I'll explain the strategies a bit more when I get a bit further in. Yeah, this is where it starts getting a bit tricky as soon as you get to Sodom. Like most people, get to Sodom and pretty much die because he is quite random. See here, right? A lot of the enemies on you can control the screen a bit easier by just limiting the amount of enemies which come on. Like there, well, before the oil drums, I didn't scroll on so much because you don't really want to flood the enemies, flood the screen with enemies. If you can just scroll a couple on, then you just take your time and bring the next people on. You don't want to just go balls deep all the time. Right, it's a good strategy you can use with Haga here, because if you do the kick and then the splash, it sort of like cancels out his dash. Like there, kick, splash, throw, yeah, kick, splash. If he does that, just do it back. That's the backbreaker thing I was on about there. That's good for controlling enemies. I'll show you later on when it happens. Yeah, he's nearly dead. There's a few other ways you can do this, because I know my friend years ago used to play in Capital Taxis. He used to knock Sodom down, and then as he dashed him, he used to pick up the knife as soon as he dashed. As he was going to get hit, he'd pick up the knife and he'd grab him instantly. But the time is so tight, I could never do it. I always used to use did it that way. Right, this is a bonus stage. Just not much to explain on here really. But yeah, it's definitely it is definitely possible with a credit if you put the time into it. Yeah, that's me, right? I get up a few times in this replay because we got a couple of cats, and I recorded this replay with an ironing board and an iPad, and the cats, I could see the cat in the corner of my eye just like about to jump on the ironing board and knocking the iPad off. She did that on my replay before and just ruined it. So that's me getting up trying to shoo her off. Yeah, see that backbreaker then? That's I was dragging those enemies, blue enemies, into the so they all go on one side of the screen. I said, grab. You want to try and keep them all on one side because it's a nightmare otherwise. So those blue guys are a right pain, because if you notice how long they take to get up, they take ages, and the Andor gets up straight away. So if you knock them both down at the same time, it messes you up. This is a good strategy here. When there's one Andor on the screen, just knock him down once, like do a kick on the way up, and then just repeat this. He can't get out of that. Right, here's a good use of that backsplash now. When I jump and I do the backsplash, and it can drag enemies. See, it drags him over there. Because if I was to do just a normal flying kick, then I would have did a flying kick to the left. The knife man would have flew to the left. Those two guys from the right come along. I go over and fight those, and the knife man's just ready to hit me again. And so if I do the backsplash like that, it drags the enemy in the opposite direction, and it's so useful. I couldn't do the game without that. It's a vital move. And using the backbreaker you can use as an opening attack, because then I used the fat man. I did a backbreaker with a fat man, and then the Andor, he couldn't touch me. He tried to punch me, but because I didn't. Well, I had like invincible frames basically. Right, this is a good strategy by here. It doesn't work every time, but it's a good example of the invincibility with the backbreaker. So it's a backbreaker, hit twice, walk away, hit twice. As I hold up, do that. And the thing is, right, as soon as their energy's down to red, they sync up a little bit better, so you can just fly kick them. Because if I was to do this, if I was just to fly kick from the very start of the match, or very start of the fight, they'd be able to sync all the time. They'd fall down, and one would get up a little bit quicker. But as their energy gets low, they sort of sync up when they get tired. Yeah, that was quite lucky, that part, because that strategy doesn't always work. Yeah, the knife men, you want to try and keep them close. You don't want to like just fly kick them. And so that's very risky. That was. I could have been hit there. Right, this part. Right, see there. I did one punch on its own, because I knew I needed the spinning attack. But sometimes when you're in like the thick of the fight, it's hard to get it's hard to time the two buttons at the same time. So what I do, I press, if I know I got to use it for a certain part, I hold the punch or hold jump and then just tap the other button. It's a bit easier. Yeah, this is a good example by here of by using the background as a marker. Because if you know when the next wave of enemies is going to come on, you want to try and limit them. And on this boss here, if you scroll them on slowly, only he comes on and not his buddies. See there, if you scroll on that guy that sat on the car, if you just line yourself up with that guy who sat in the car in the background, only that one enemy comes on. And then at the start of that fight, I did the backbreaker to drag him to the left. Yeah, it's really easy boss this is if you use that strategy. Because if I scrolled that far originally, I would have had loads of enemies to fight as well. But because I scrolled on slowly, only half the enemies respawned. Right, this part, as long as you stay straight, you got to jump over that first one, but you're perfectly lined up now, so you can't really get hit. But what you want to make sure is, if you hold up to do the backbreaker, sometimes you can move up a couple of millimeters, and then you're out of position then, and the fire can hit you. So I try to avoid holding up on this part, because it's a bit of a pain. This is where it starts getting tricky in a minute in a minute actually. A lot of people can get this far, and that's where it usually ends, but yeah, this part's pretty easy. Just hang around by there, because that Andor, he'll try, because he walks really slow, he more than likely gets hit by the fire. There you go. As soon as he's down, as soon as Andor's down, just get in there, grab him, and then just keep looping him with the backbreaker. Right, this part, yeah, just get him behind the wall by there. It's easier, because otherwise, yeah, it takes ages to bloody kill them. Right, there's a neat strategy by here as well, where, well, there should have been some energy in this oil drum. Because if you scroll the oil drums to the very far left of the screen and hit them, whatever's inside or bench to the right. Right, by here, there should be a chicken in there. See, by there, put it on the edge, hit it once, bounces in. It wasn't. That should have been a chicken. 9 times out of 10, that's energy. I was a bit annoyed with that. These fat men can be annoying because you can get bad luck sometimes where they can knock you down once and then dash you straight away and you can't get up. Right, this part, yeah, I line that up. Well, I use the back grain to line that up. Where the back wall gets light, if you jump, you can get the Andor every time. So that's a really good strategy in Final Fight. Use the back grains to know where the next wave is coming on, because then you've got there's no guesswork involved then. You just know guaranteed. Like that part there, I lined that up with the back grain then, so I knew. So as soon as you walk past half of that door in the back grain, those two guys come on. This part's tricky. If you use the backsplash, you can control these knife men easily. See, there's people coming from the back now, so swap the knife men over, get them all on one side. But what you don't want is enemies both sides, because it's chaos then, and it's like a bit lucky. And don't be afraid to use that. See, I lost a lot of energy there, but if I didn't use that, I would have been hit a couple more times, knocked down, and then maybe got knocked when I got up. So don't be afraid to use the spin attack or the special. Yeah, I heard the cat jump then. Yeah, don't be afraid to use a special attack, but don't use it all the time. But yeah, it's good. It's good to use. People don't tend to use it much because they think they lose energy, but you lose more energy if you don't use it. See that part there? I lined up with a ladder. When the Andor comes down, you're perfectly lined up. Yeah, this part's pretty tricky actually. If you jam them in the corner, it's not so bad. The thing is, you get to the time here because you got to make sure you got to kill them fast, ready for these 3 knife men. Otherwise, you got a woman, an Andor, and 3 knife men to cope with. See, that I messed that up there. That was meant to be a spin attack. So you got to kill these quick. Otherwise, you got the Relento to do in the same time. Yeah, this is quite an easy strategy. Just do a backwards jump with a splash, and just keep swapping sides. Now and again you can get hit, but luckily this time I didn't. Yeah, to do that backwards jump, it's good. Oh, there, I got hit. Don't make sense really, does it? Yeah, to do that backwards jump, you don't press the button together. You got to press jump and stagger it, then press the backwards direction. Don't press back on the button at the same time. Just press jump back. Yeah, stagger it slightly. Right, from now, I tend to just do the spin attack because he's quite weak, Relento. If you do the spin attack, it takes tons of energy off him, and if you try and grab him, it's like 50-50 if he's going to grab you, and yeah, it's not worth it. So if you've got enough energy, just keep spinning him. See, it takes tons of energy off. He's a right pain in the ass, this boss. Like I said, Final Fight, you get some really random goes sometimes where all the enemies take tons of energy off you. The Andors always punch you when you try to fly kick them. But this go was quite a favourable go actually. Yeah, those cats are right pain when I'm doing the recording. I should have locked them away really, but yeah, I didn't have time. Yeah, the start of this stage. At this stage is it's the longest in the game, and you can skip a lot of enemies by doing that at the start. Because otherwise, you get to the end of the level, and yeah, the time is nearly run out, and then you lose a life then. This isn't always a good idea to scroll loads of people on because they're all easy enemies. It's not so bad, and you've got those telephone boxes to take away movement for the enemies, and they can't go up and around you so easy. unless they kick him like that. But, yeah, this level, it's not too bad, this level, as long as you're... See, then a hell punch. See, it's weird, that fat man then, he came on really slow. And say I restart the game now and played again, that fat man will run on top speed. Like, there you go. It's really random, it's hard. You've got to improvise quite a bit in Final Fight. Yeah, these fat men now, if I try and do a combo on them, more often than not, in the past, I've tried to I could do you could do the backbreaker loop on them, but now and again you can get knocked down, and 50% of the time when you get knocked down, they'll badge you. So the second you get up, no matter what you do, you'll just get hit, and more often than not, you just lose an entire life just being hit down once. So by here, I'm just playing it safe and just fly kicking them. It takes a long time, but it's more guaranteed than trying to take them on. Yeah, it's just points and some Pepsi. Well, this part is normally 2 Andors, but if you jump on there and jump off, the Andor on the left gets stuck and you can't come on because that oil drum's there. Yeah, because if I was to walk underneath that oil drum, then I'd have 2 Andors to cope with. And there you go, just wait for that one kick, and get in there and grab straight away. But don't try and fight him head on, or head on, because he can just punch you down and then jump on you on the floor, and you've lost a life instantly. There you go, that's what I tried to do before. But there's a whole punch now, so I just tap jump now, because there's going to be a load of oil drums. I said there's one more wave now. They try to trick you. That's it. Now. No, now. There you go. Sorry, I haven't played it for a while. See, if you look at those blue guys, they're the ones that bloody mess me up. They take so long to get up. But this part, you want to make sure you scroll really slowly. This part's quite tedious, because what you could do, you could do loads of back jumps and scroll all the women on, but you'd have loads of women on the screen, and the women could kill you in a couple of hits. So just take your time and just spawn the women on really slowly, or one by one. This is where speeding at the start, or doing those back jumps at the start to skip the enemies, it pays off, because you can take your time on this part, and this part's quite dangerous. There's annoying knife men. There's a couple more there's a really tricky part on this stage later on where you got about 6 knife men. It's a bit crazy. But yeah, as long as you just take your time with this part, don't scroll on too much, because if you get three women on the screen, they all get up at weird speeds. They all they can jump as well, which even messes you up even more, because you can't keep them all on the one side. They got really high priority on their kicks and their jumping attacks. They're just ridiculous. So just limit the time, limit the amount you get on screen. There's another knife man in a second. Because I think with the women, you can't really do the backbreaker loop, because as soon as they get up, they'll just do what they want. They don't obey the rules as such. Yeah, I got a bit of a confession with this replay. I actually did this on Valentine's Day, because me and the wife went for food, and came back, and she was pretty tired, so she went to sleep on the settee. And I thought, flipping heck, it's still quite early. I thought, so I thought I'll have a go on Final Fight. Well, the cats were asleep when I started, and then he started waking up, but the wife was still asleep. So I thought, Yeah, let's just try and get a 1CCR type recorded. Not the right time to do it, I guess, but she was asleep, so I took advantage of it. Yeah, these guys, they seem easy, but they can just take half your energy down in just a couple of seconds. So be careful with these. They're just playing footsies with you all the time. They're just outside your range. So yeah, try and fly kick those guys. Right, these guys are quite dangerous as well, because like them, when he did that overhead attack. Alright guys, yeah, sorry, somebody phoned, cause I'm recording this on my phone. Somebody phoned up and just ended the recording. So I'm going to try and put these two together, so hopefully we'll be out of sync. Yeah, as I was saying, those Axel men, you want to try and not go too crazy on them, because if they can hit you once and you can just take half your energy off. But this bat is really tricky, so just keep doing the backwards swan dive. Oh, that shouldn't have happened then. That shouldn't have happened either. Yeah, this bat was quite lucky. So we've got quite a lot of slowdown on this bat, actually, isn't there? Yeah, that pack, because those firemen, they can kill you really fast. If you get hit once by there, half your energy's gone, twice and you're dead. Right, this pack is bloody solid. So you want to make right. There's energy in there. So do that strategy I was saying earlier. Just scroll at half on, hit it once, so you get extra energy. Now this pack, you want to make sure that the reverse swan dive is vital on this pack, and that loop where you hold it up here. Because they all get at the same time, you get a nice loop going on if you hold up. See there, I want to try and get them all on the same side, because if you get knife men or both on each side, it's just it's a nightmare. So try and keep them all together. And a Hager is the best for doing this because of that backwards swan dive. You can just control the screen, amazing. There you go, like that. See, drag them all over. They were just on the left then. And you can just do it one swan dive, reverse swan dive, and just drag them over. It doesn't make sense really, because it just like defies physics, doesn't it? There you go, and use the knives on them. You see how they like it. Alright, from there on, you want to be quite. Yeah, see, I hear the cats there. There was a. Yeah, because we got two cats. We got two. Well, one's half Bengal, and one's Bengal, and the Bengal is just active all the time. It's just like jumping around everywhere. And I did one replay, and it just jumped up past the screen on top of the arcade machine. It ruins my goals every time. Right, you want to take your time by here now, because you want to make sure when you on the boss now, Abigail, you want to make sure you got full energy, because it can go horribly wrong. Yeah, the Mega CD version is quite good actually of this. If we were going to play like a non-arcade version, the Mega CD version is the best home version, I'd say. Well, apart from the 68,000, but who could afford that? Right, we're nearly at the boss now. Sorry, it's quite a. There's not much going on, is there? I can't think much to say. Well, these guys now, just take your time with these, because these can ruin the boss now. Because if you get hit a couple of times with them, you're gonna have half energy for the last boss, or for the end of level boss, Abigail. So you want to just take your time. Well, it's a good strategy here, right? Grab him straight away, and then cross over him, and it like resets him. Because if I was to stay on the same side, and try and grab him again, he'd grab me for definite. But if you cross him over like that, it resets his grab programming, I guess. See there, that flying kick there, fumbled flying kick, was meant to be a clothesline when I messed that up. See there, that was a good opening move there, and you can use, like I said earlier, the backbreaker is totally invincible. So it's always good if you've got like a really high priority move, like a really strong enemy about to hit you. Just grab someone near and just backbreak in the opposite direction. It almost seems like counterintuitive, like you're just leaving yourself open, but it's pretty much like an invincibility button. Oh, right, this part, it's the biggest drought in the game of energy, because you've got all these enemies now at the bottom. You've got that big wave at the end just before the lift, and then you've got to fight a few Andors, a load of women, a load of firemen, all on one energy bar. So for the next like 10 minutes, you want to just take it nice and slow. Like there, right? I scrolled those two. There's two waves of enemies then, but I didn't want them both on the screen at the same time, because I could lose half energy just from bad luck. So there, I've memorised the background there, so I know when to scroll the enemies on. Like I went past that first blue sign, the Axel men came on just before that pillar. The punks come on. They go after the pillar, then those other enemies come on. You want to learn where they spawn, because you know we got this far now. You don't want to just ruin it just by walking too fast and getting yourself killed. Yeah, there's no energy here. I think this is where Capcom thought, oh, you know, let's get some more money out of them now, because we won't give them any energy now for a good while. But this part in a minute at the end of here, it's a bit nuts. But as long as you get them all on the one side, it's perfectly manageable. But that backsplash I was talking about, where you can like cross people up, you know, like change sides, the backsplash. You don't want to use that on an Andor, because 9 times out of 10 you'll do a backsplash and he'll hit you out of it. So you notice on this part I don't use that on an Andor, because it's just, yeah, you're just gonna get hit. More often than not he'll just jump on you, which is pretty much instant death. Sorry, I'm shivering. I can't hear my voice, can you? It's freezing in this bedroom. I should have put the heating on first. Right, this is where the entire replay could have gone wrong. But you don't want to attack him too much, because you've got these fat men coming at the same time. So this part, you want to make sure you keep everyone on the one side, because like imagine half of those on each side. It'd just be, well, you wouldn't know what to do. Yeah, try and fly kick the Andor. Or spin him. Don't try and punch the Andor, because his range is longer than yours, and more often than not, you hit right with it. The other guy's not so bad, but because you've got that Andor in the way, yeah, he's very dangerous. So now, because he's on his own, kick him on the way up. Flying kick on the way up, like a quick upwards kick, and then just loop. Alright, this is where it gets tricky, believe it or not. Yeah, because you've got... Oh, what have you got first? I think you got... Oh, sorry, I played this in so long. Yeah, you got 3 fat men now. But the thing is, I take especially long on these 3 fat men, because I didn't want to mess it up. Because if I try to punch them and they just headbutt me just outside my punch range, the other one can just do a dash as I get up, and then I'm dead. And I need my energy. This is the longest drought in the game. See, a whole punch, because I got to spin these men. See, that's the only chance I take now. I fly kick them. Well, I thought I did. I think I fly kick them in a minute, because it's quite risky just taking them on, because they could just randomly dash you. Because the game's so random, it's quite unpredictable. I could walk in there and grab him, but there's a chance he could dash you. I didn't want to take the chance. It's been quite a decent run up to this point. Well, this part's quite tricky, even though it doesn't look it. But yeah, that was quite lucky because a lot of the time I jumped back like that. Because as they were jumping in the air, then they were kicking at the same time. So you got to try and get under them. If you just like try and grab them as they land, they'll just kick you in the head. Now this part is hard. It's 50-50 if you can get them in the loop, and luckily I got them in a nice loop. There's 3 Andors. See, if you've got all the 3 enemies, they all get up at the same speed. You can get in this loop, and basically now I can't get hit. I can't die. See, Cody and Guy can't do that. Can't do that loop, because when they throw, they can get hit as they're thrown in the opposite direction. As soon as they stand up, they can get hit. But Hagar, as he's doing the backbreaker, he's totally invincible, and when he stands back up again, he's invincible for a couple of frames. So if there's someone standing there and you punch them, you got them every time. Right, this is another part I'd recommend. Just spawning what you need on at the screen at the same time. Don't use the palm trees and that umbrella as markers. Because if I just walked on now, if I walked on like up to that ladder on the right hand side, or the fire palm tree, that ladder, springboard, I'd have about 10 of these people on the screen now at the one time. And look at my energy's quite low, and I've got a little bit to go yet before I get energy. So you want to try and just spawn the minimum amount, because like I said, this is the smallest, the largest rate of energy. These firemen, these are consistently in the same place. I think it's right, left, right, left, right, left, right, left, right, left, right. Yeah, they're in the same place every time, so that's a part you can guarantee on. By this part, it takes a long time, but just stay in the distance and just keep hitting them like that. I wouldn't bother trying to grab them, headbutt them, fly kick them, because it's just too risky. You could get them in a loop, maybe. Like I could be holding up there and do a backbreaker, but it's risky. It's risky. It's a bit of a lame way of doing this, but as they're blocking, they get hit anyway. Right, there's the energy. I was lucky. See, then I should... Oh, yeah, there's any more energy there. Yeah, just skip the rest of that. Right, there's some hidden items by here. Just points, really. If you go for like a record or something. Right, this part, I really messed this part up now. Because that's a hard combination to have, 2 knife men and two women. Because the women and knife men are just get up all different speeds. The knife women got really weird priorities on their kicks. They can jump over you, and it's a nightmare. Look all that energy I've lost now. I shouldn't. A lot of the time I can do that, but I just got really unlucky that go. I think I get my energy back though, actually, because there's more energy in a minute. This is another part you want to just scroll the enemies on one by one, because as soon as you go past that corridor, more enemies spawn. So I didn't go all the way, otherwise I'd have more enemies to... Yeah, I heard the cat there. So as soon as I walk to that wall now, more enemies will come on. And if I walked there originally, I'd have those and the previous enemies all at the same time. So you got to learn where the enemies spawn, just to give yourself more time. Yeah, don't get hit by that. That's like over half energy straight away. Yeah, that part I held punch just before, because there's 4 fat men. At least one of them is going to run at top speed. Oh god, I'm freezing. Yeah, there's some more energy by here now, actually. So that part I messed up earlier on. I get the energy back off it. There you go, energy. Right, it's a good part by here because there's quite an aggressive Andor. But if you do the backwards jump, because the backwards jump makes you advance a lot faster than a forwards jump, and you can skip enemies. I think he's on now in a second. But yeah, when I went to Japan in 2009, I think it was, I saw so many people complete this game with 1 credit. Because as me and my mate, well, we went there for 10 days, and they went in there. See there, that would have been a nightmare taking those 2 on. But if you just keep jumping back. See, on the X68000 version, you couldn't do that then. You'd have to fight. Oh, look at that, got it. You'd have to fight those Andors. You can't scroll them off. So in some ways, the arcade version's easier. But in another way, the X68000 version hasn't got as many enemies. So I suppose it levels out. But yeah, there is no good conversion really. Apart from emulator. Oh, look at that. Oh. But yeah, this is a bad combination of people because they all these get up at different speeds. Like the fat men get up quite quick. Those normal little grunts take ages to get up, and it's just chaos. I shouldn't have lost this much energy really. But yeah, like I was saying, me and my friend we went in the Tri Arcade in Akihabara, and every day you'd see like someone different in there just completing Final Fight 1 credit. It's just like the normal thing they do over there. So yeah, as soon as I came home, I thought, oh yeah, come on, I gotta do it on the default settings. See, this part's not so bad. As long as you've got enemies, all the enemies that are all the same, you can get them in like a nice little loop because they get up at consistent speeds. So if you chuck a woman in there as well, then it would just be chaos. Actually, I think I lose a life by here now. Oh no, I don't think. No, I don't think. In a minute, I do. Yeah, no energy here. You'd think Capcom would give you a bit of energy, wouldn't you, by here, because all you've been through. But yeah, we're near the end now. It's not much. It's all 1 floor now. But yeah, you got an insane part just before the last boss, which is just nuts. You got every enemy in the game, every enemy type in the game, all on the screen at the same time, and you can't even edge like half them on at the same time. You got to be all or nothing. It's pretty harsh. The thing is, even in Japan, right? I saw most people I saw got to the last boss, or the last, this part, the last level, and it even, cause I saw this one guy, and he did it. I saw him do it like 3 days in a row, and then I saw him another couple of times, and he died on the last level. So even though he could do it most goes, because the game's so random, you can't guarantee you're going to do it every time. So yeah, I cornered myself there. That was a silly idea, really. What I should have done there is that backwards move just to get him at the corner, get him all synced up. So you don't want to do that to the women. If you've got the women in the corner like that, they'll always find a gap in your punches and they'll get you. But with those like normal grunts, you're okay. But the women, you don't want a corner. Right, here's the last run before the last boss. My chest was hurting a little bit by here. Yeah, this is another part. You want to just spawn. You want to controlled spawn the enemies on. Because there's no energy now. Well, yeah, there is actually. You get some energy just before the last boss, but you need your energy for that big, crazy Royal Rumble in a minute. As you can see now, I'm taking no risks. I'm not doing any like air combos, like that air kick and an air swan. I'm just taking it nice and easy. Yeah, those weapons. I see some Haga players using them, but I don't really like them. They're too slow. Ah, sorry, indigestion. I think it's by here now. It's just crazy, this part. No, after this. See, this is consistent as well with these. They're always in the same place. Right, left, left, right, left, right. Right, bit of a breather there. Right, this part you're just gonna have to try and get a nice loop going, like the backbreaker loop. I'm gonna get quite a nice backbreaker loop going. Ah, look at that. Ah, no. My hat sunk then. That's it. If you just grab some when they're getting that loop, there you go. See? Ah, damn. That's why I'm going damn. I know how to do it. Just get, yeah, see, now it's a bit more manageable, so you're getting that loop. See that woman, when she's in the air, she'll always win. It's like one hand on his own, easy, kick on the way up, keep back breaking. Yeah, my heart was racing a little bit on this back. This was quite a decent go actually, but this last boss you can mess up, so I did mess up a little bit. He's not that bad actually. Just grab him straight away. What I'm gonna do is look at the shadow on the floor where he's gonna land, and as soon as he lands, jump and do the. See, I did that too quick. Then I tried to jump and do that, but I pressed it too quick. Yeah, and then just spam that now. So that was a bit lucky. Yeah, see, I got enough energy now. But there's a guy in Japan on this part, and he froze the last boss. So if you bring a knife, well, there you go. If you bring a knife with you to the last boss and chuck it against the wall, when he fires his darts, well, wait, you can't fire his darts. There's not enough. There's too many sprites on the screen. So as he's firing his gun, no bullets come out, and he threw him against the wall, and he froze the last boss. And what he did then was he just milked the entire. He just milked all the enemies that come on. And sorry, the phone was ringing. Yeah, well, he threw him against the wall, and he froze the last boss, and he was just, well, he had all his energy, all his lives left still, and he was just milking all the enemies until the time ran out, lost a life, then just milked them again, and it took about another 20 minutes, and then when it was down to his last life with zero time. He hit the last boss once and then just, he got a ridiculous score. But yeah, well, that's the guy who inspired me anyway to get it done. Yeah, well, there you go, guys. That's final fight. I don't know if there's any tips there you can salvage from my ramblings to improve your game on final fight. But yeah, stick with it. It is possible with one credit. It just takes a bit of practice and a lot of patience. But yeah, I don't know. I might do another one soon. One of my other might do a Daimakamura, but yeah, that's another random game. I don't know. I'll see how it goes. All right, guys. Ta-da.